Good evening, everyone. If you haven't already grabbed dinner, then we do have some snacks back here in the back. They are free. The drinks are $1 each, so make sure that you grab some food. We'll get started here in just a second.
Good, how are you? Uh-oh.
Is that better, Josh? No.
This goes here.
Honest, I know what I'm doing. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you, my friend.
Is that better, Josh?
Hey, Loretta.
Loretta, Dee's over here.
Right next to you now.
How are you today?
Anyway, welcome everyone to our annual meeting of the SCA Community Association. You come and do it. You're the music person. Yeah? Well, you're gonna have to do it. Can you just hear me this way? Can you hear me, Sandra? A little bit? Okay. So I'm just gonna, I'll let you hear on that and do something. So anyway, welcome right to our annual meeting. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce, my name is Alan. I am the president this year, and this is really my last meeting, but I want to introduce our board members, because they really do all of the work. They don't do anything. So we're gonna start with Josh back there. He's our vice president. Jennifer is our treasurer. Where's Barbara at? She's
right here.
The worker there. Robert's back there, Taz in the kitchen. He's our food guy, right? Anna's working tonight. We have Willie back there.
Yeah, Willie.
And we have Carly, who's not here tonight. I do have a good story, right? We worked real good together. And one time we went down, you might have heard that story. We were down at Willie's, right? We're always down there hanging out, talking, what everybody does. And you're familiar with our area, right? That our area is the largest grower of wine grapes in the state, 80%. You know, even our wine is so good that they take it to the White House State Dinners. Did you know that? Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? I know Heather back there knows that. But what we're really known for is cattle, right? This was a cattle place. So we're having a discussion down at Willie's talking about this and that. And this guy's telling me, right, about the ranch they have and how big it is. So I wanted to, get in on it. So I said, well, I got a ranch up in Flagstaff, and it's so big, right? It's so big.
How big is it?
Right, there you go, right? That it takes all day to drive your truck across it. And Willie, being Willie, says, well, I had a truck like that once too. Isn't that the way it is? Sure enough.
That is a pretty Willie thing to say.
Very much.
I'm technologically challenged. So we have a year, so you know what the community association does, is we do a lot of events for you. So the New Year's Eve fireworks and that stuff we get to do for you, right? We have a family day later on in April when it's nice and windy. I think we fly some kites around. And then the 4th of July. I mean, I love the 4th of July thing here. It is so cool. How cool is it? It's cooler than Phoenix. That's how cool it is, right? Yeah, absolutely it is. And then we had a part of the wine festival that was here. We did a meet and greet with the candidates before the election. We have a Veterans Day parade, and then of course Christmas. We also try to get together sometimes, and if you look around you, we have some of these wonderful community groups that do things, and we also do some community development projects. So we worked with, where is she at, Anna, and the historical preservation, which is a good thing, and they're working on that. We got a new visitor center that's not us, but it's down there. There's a lot of cool stuff down there. And now it's your turn.
Now it's my turn. All right, so for the treasurer's report, I'll keep it short, because nobody wants to hear a bunch of numbers, right? The main thing is, it takes a lot of money to do what we do. We held, I think it was 8 events this year, and none of our events really make money. We don't cover our expenses. We actually spent about $4,000 this year on just having those 8 events. The biggest one, obviously, is the 4th of July, because our fireworks are so spectacular. To the point, we have set a bar that's pretty high, and now we have people from other communities that want to come and see our fireworks show. So in order to keep it that way, we need your help. So if you have a business and you would be interested in sponsoring the whole slate of events during the year, we have lots of sponsorship opportunities. Or if you would just like to drop some money in one of our donation bins to help us cover the cost of the fireworks, we would greatly appreciate it. We have a couple of the bins here tonight, and you'll find them scattered all over town, from Sandy's to Columns and everywhere in between. So please consider donating to that. We also have memberships. So you do not have to be a member of the SCA to enjoy all the things that we do as a community, but it does help you get plugged into the community even better. So I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I'm not from around here. I know, shockers. But when I landed here 3 years ago, the very first thing I did was to find an organization to get involved with. And it became the SCA, and now I have a support system that I would have never had when I'm here by myself. So I encourage all of you, find some way to get plugged in. This is why we have all these fine folks lining the ring tonight, so that you can find a way either to get services that you might need, or find a way to volunteer, spend your time, get connected with your neighbors, and really get involved and enjoy this community that we love so much. Let's see what else we have. So where are you from? Nashville.
You didn't get that?
Is that it? Don't make me break into Rocky Top. We did have some wonderful sponsors this last year, so I want to say thank you to our gold sponsor, which was Ferticell. They are a maker of organic fertilizers. If you guys are interested in any of that, come see me. They're actually friends of mine. Our silver sponsors for the 23-24 year was Sunsites Trailer Park and SSDEC. And then we had copper sponsors, which was Sea Enterprises and Whitewater Irrigation. Again, if you guys have a business and you're interested in sponsorships, we have everything from the $500 level all the way up to the $5,000 level. So if you're interested in that, just let us know. Okay?
Are we on again?
We are on again.
I need to stay right there then.
That's good, because we can't really see her anyway. Sorry. There's her little voice back
See
there.
this how good Barbara is. I'm gonna tell you, I got something here I gotta do, but she wrote this down, actually. She wrote summary, so this is what I'm supposed to tell you, right? The past year has been fantastic for the SCA, marked by numerous family events, active involvement with the local community organizations, collaborative efforts with our county to enhance the well-being of Sunsites, anticipating another year filled with positivity and progress. Please follow us on Facebook. You can contact us at sunsitescommunity@gmail.com. And we have monthly meetings, the first Monday of every month, over at the church up here at the treasure where it turns to dirt, right there, at 5:30 p.m. How do you like that?
That's awesome.
That is awesome. So we want to thank everybody for this. That's done. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have some fun. And you know, I got some people, one of the fun things about getting to do this is that I get to say thank you to people. And so we have somebody that's Santa Claus every year, right? One of the things we get to do. And so Santa Claus has to come on up here because Santa Claus is the citizen of the year for all that he does. We didn't have to, but we did because we appreciate you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. board in the community in 3 years. And how did you say that again? Where you're from?
Nashville?
Ah, there you go. Okay, so that's where she's from. And so, our community service award goes to Jen. Is Loretta here?
She's right here.
Loretta, you're up. Right? Loretta gets to volunteer everywhere, all the time.
Yep.
We wouldn't have anything here without her, so you are our volunteer. Good. Thank you. And then, you know, we've got one person in our community that takes care of our community, is always texting me, calling me on Facebook, and it's not Barbara, right? There is Barbara that does that, and there is Jen that does that. But if you need something in the community, or you're even having a problem in the community, right? Something happens to one of our citizens, something like that, there's one person that's always there, giving you a hug, seeing how you're doing, keeping this organization running, as well as about 5 others. And so we really wanted to do something special for Joe. If we snuck this in on.
Perfectly acceptable, Joe.
Yep.
You deserve it. So that's the fun stuff, except for this, you know, one of the things we have here that is really amazing, and that is we have a fire district, so we have a fire department. So you're gonna get to and tell us all about you do, because you do more than just that, right?
Right now, huh?
You're up.
So use the mic or no mic? All right. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Levi Garner. I'm the fire chief. Been the chief since 2022, but I've worked here at the district since 2011. Just a little bit of an update or background for you if you don't know. We get a lot of questions sometimes. Are we full-time? Are we volunteer? Those kind of things. For your information, we do have full-time staff. We're at the station 24/7. We're always here when you guys need an emergency. We operate an ambulance. We do fire suppression, hazmat, technical rescue, or what you call an all-hazards fire district. Last year was a busy year for us. We had a 19% increase in call volume. So over 100 or 137 calls over the previous year. So things have been pretty busy for us. And that was with kind of a slower fire season. And we'll talk about fire season here in a minute, but I think we're gonna have a busy season on our hands around here. So some good things since last year, since last January, we brought in over $630,000 in grant revenue. So this is money that's coming to the district, that's not coming out of your property taxes and things like that to go towards operations. Things that we purchased with that is we have a new ambulance in service. We have new PPE for our guys, including air packs for going in the fires. Lots of new equipment for the ambulance to help us provide a better service to you guys. I've had a lot of phone calls the last few weeks about the fire hydrant situation, so we'll give a little update while everybody's here. We've been working with the new water company. We've identified 69 fire hydrants. About 75% of them are able to flow water in some capacity. We haven't tested flow rates. We've just been going around opening them, make sure that they flow water. The ones that do not flow water, they have NFPA out of service tags on them, so they're easily identifiable now for everybody to see, like, that hydrant does not work, okay? They, verbally committed to improving the system around here, and I've seen it in action. Since we've identified hydrants, with the new company, they've already replaced 3 of them to put more in service. So that there is progress on that front. I know a lot of people have been interested in that. For fire season, so wildland season's pretty much year-round at this point. We have times we're a little more busy than others, but even today, we had a wildland fire. We started off busy in January, so we did send a truck to California to help with their fires up there. We sent an engine and a strike team leader to go assist them, and everybody's back safe from that assignment. The forecasting for our area is showing March, April, May, below average precipitation, above average temperatures, above average fire activity, okay? So while that means a lot for us at the fire department for our preparation moving into the next few months, it puts a lot on you guys as well, to be fire smart, be fire ready, those kind of things. So one thing that comes up a lot is burn permits, the proper way to burn. If you guys are doing burns at your property and don't know how to get a permit, give us a call. We'll help walk you through the process. We're looking at setting up a community meeting here, like first week of April timeframe. When a date is nailed down, we'll make sure it gets pushed out to everybody. But looking to have kind of a wildfire readiness community meeting to talk a little bit more in depth about the upcoming fire season. But with those predictions, just asking the community to be fire safe. Okay? Another issue that's been in the news a lot lately, especially since California, is some insurance issues as far as people's rates and premiums going up. We've had people that are losing insurance in the surrounding communities because they don't have a fire district, things like that. So if you live outside the fire district, and if you don't know, come talk to me afterwards. I'll tell you if you're in the district or not. We have fire subscriptions available for people that live outside of the fire district that can impact your insurance rates. We're looking at doing a challenge for our current ISO ratings. So in the Insurance Safety Office issues ratings for communities based on their fire protection. We're looking at lowering our number, which can have an impact on people's insurance and bringing their rates down. So that's something that we're going to be really focusing on the next year for you guys. And then, surrounding communities have been reaching out about extending our district boundaries to kind of incorporate them in to help with their insurance things. So that you might be hearing some chatter about that as we move forward in the next few months. Just in conclusion, we appreciate all your guys' support here in the community. Be safe, be fire ready. A reminder, if you have an emergency, call 911. We still get a lot of phone calls at the fire station when people are having emergencies, but we're not always there because we might be out doing things for other people. So 911, remember that. That's kind of the recap I have, unless anybody has any questions for me while I'm up here.
What's our current rating?
Our current rating, I believe, is a 7 here in town. On the outside of the other side of Richland is a 9.
What are the boundaries of your district?
So there's a map on sunsitesfire.org. There's a district boundaries on there, but basically south of Richland Road, kind of down to about Pierce Road, a little bit south of Pierce Road, and then from Cochise Stronghold Road over to 191. And you can see a better map online. Yeah. Anything else for me? Yes.
Sandbags, you have sandbags.
Sandbags. Oh man. So they put a pile of sand at our station like 5 years ago. There's a little bit left, and we do have some sandbags in the station. I've been working with the county to see if we can get another load of sand and another load of sandbags. So I'll get on that again. Yeah, I'll catch up with you after this. But yeah, we'll try to get more sand and sandbags up here. We're not currently a designated county sandbag site. We'll see if we can change that. Yes?
I went to an event that you folks had. There was other events around town for seniors for readiness, dealing with fire and some other things. I went a couple of years ago, and that's what you're gonna do, something like that again.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get that.
It was
beginning of
excellent.
April.
There were hardly any people there, and the information of readiness. And I remember when that mountain was all on fire, and they were telling people in Richland, you may have to evacuate. Nobody was ready. Nobody had a clue what that meant. So I went to that meeting after that event. It was very helpful, really helpful. So if you can go to that thing in April, it would be well worth your while.
Yeah, we'll get that
Because we
on the
live in a
calendar.
fire district, and Richland wasn't gonna burn, but the smoke was coming right across there, and for toxicity's sake, they would have to leave, many people would have to leave.
Yeah.
It just shifted at the last minute.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of good information at that meeting when we have it, so encourage y'all to be there. All right, there's nothing else.
So do you guys know that our area is known worldwide for the amount of birds that it has? You know that? It's very, very well known for birds. We even have TV programs come and film here during some of our events for that. And so with that brings a lot of raptors here, and we're not talking about the Ford Raptor, so there might be a lot of those around here. But I think Raptor Arizona wants to come and talk to us a little bit.
They're not here.
Oh, they're not here. Oh, well, how about the library then? We all read, so the library can do that. Friends of the library, right?
Friends of the library. Hello, I'm Rachel St. Clair, and unlike Jen, I am from here. I was born and raised in this area back when our street addresses were down on the rural route. And the library was huge when I was young. I lived there, I loved it, and so when I had the opportunity to move back, first thing I did was I'm gonna volunteer at the library. So I'm with the Friends, which is slightly different. Think of it this way, we provide all the stuff that lets the county put books in it. So we handle the facilities, the utilities, all that stuff, and when I say we, I really mean you, because it's the community. We're community supported, we do fundraising, we have donations, and it's really the community that keeps us open, and we love it. We also love volunteers, so like Jen, we also would love to have some volunteers. If not, we also would love a membership. If you're interested in what membership to the Friends of the Library gets you, we have some packets over with Sharon. So stop by and grab one of those. We also have, so the library and the Friends, we do a ton of programming and just a lot of stuff that isn't just books. So there's a lot of stuff at the library, a lot of programs, and some things that are going on in March. So the first Monday of every month, we have CCHCI come out and do a wellness clinic. So they'll be there March 3rd. The 7th and 8th is so folks from the area know the Geneva Street Yard Sale. So that's happening on the 7th and 8th, but we will also be on Geneva, technically. So Sharon has been paying to store our stuff at the storage units there on Frontage Road in Geneva. And so we'll be open there doing a yard sale also for the library. So all funds raised will go to the library from that. And then March 22nd, we're moving it up a little bit so that we don't conflict with other things in town. We have our annual Spring Fling fundraiser. So we'll have raffles, we'll have silent auction, food, music. So come out on the 22nd Saturday and support us there if you want to have a little bit of fun. So we really appreciate everything that the community does for the library. And we'd love to see you, so stop by the table or come out to the library on any of those events. All right, thank you. Oh, yes,
What were the
ma'am.
dates of the Geneva sale again?
The Geneva Street Yard Sale, so you'll see some flyers starting to pop up, but that's the 7th and 8th of March. So Friday the 7th, Saturday the 8th, and make it all the way down to the storage units, because we'll be open down there. Yes?
You're not telling everybody what you offer on Thursday afternoon.
The second and fourth Thursday afternoon, I do tech support. So you can bring your devices, your computer, anything else you wanna throw through the wall, you can bring that down and I'll try to at least make you wanna throw it in the tub, not plugged in, instead of the wall, a little less damage. Thank you, Jane. All right, thank you.
All right. We have a bus that comes around, right? Where's our transit guys? They here? I saw them here somewhere. Come on up and talk to us about it. And then the hospital. Yeah.
Good evening, my name's Angel Love, I'm the transit program manager for the city of Wilcox's little transit bus, I'm sure you've seen it around. We come out here on Tuesdays and Thursday, and I've got to congratulate your community because you've been really one of the best clientele support that we've had out of our cities and towns that we go to. Wilcox, of course, we do have a large amount there, but we come here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, usually in the morning between 8:30 and 9. We pick up people as a group, we come into Wilcox. We don't go to Benson or Tucson, Service, none of that. But, and then about noon time, between 11 and noon, we bring everybody back out, because the rest of the time we serve Wilcox. We only have one bus, so the bus that you see is it. And we have one full-time driver and a part-time dispatcher driver. So, our other communities we serve is Bowie and San Simon on Wednesdays and Fridays. So they really, they do ride with us, but not as much as your community. And we really want to thank you for supporting us because it's our ridership that really shows that the transit's needed in the areas. Our transit service is ADOT grant funded. It's a 5311. It's a rural transit funded bus. That means anybody can ride. We gear towards seniors and disabled people. And with a photo ID and a piece of mail, you ride free. For rural for just under 60 adults, it's $2 when you board here, and we board at your house. So, you know, we don't, unless you're on a really rough dirt road, we may have to meet you somewhere else. But we do have that from time to time. People can drive a little ways and then they'll meet us somewhere. But if you're under 60, it's $2 when you board here, and then $2 when you board back. So, you know, $4 round trip to Safeway or something, and we go anywhere, it's just not groceries or medical. So if you want to go to the library in Wilcox, you've got a nice library here. I've been to the little store, and when I'm over here on the weekends, I go by and check it out. And but we go, you know, if you want something different to eat, you can have lunch. You know, just want to go down and drink wine, just don't get drunk and get on the bus. Did anyone have any questions? Just, if you need our number, we've got a dispatch number, just call it and schedule a ride. We are a scheduling service, so we try and fit as many people. We've got 7 seats on the bus. So, and there's 2 spots for wheelchairs, but we only fill 1, because when you put 2, it's like you're just smacked together. So, we really do thank you for your support. We've been in operation since October of 2021, and since October of 2021, when we came out and signed up people, we had a lot of people ride, and they still ride. And it's, you know, some people get their car fixed, and then we don't see them for a little while, and then of course they might have their car worked on again. We see them for a couple more rides, but I just really want to thank you for your community support, because it has been we've been very grateful for that. It shows it's very needed. So we are expecting we're expecting maybe a van. ADOT, I applied for a grant for ADOT. ADOT has said okay or awarded it, but they've got to send all the paperwork to the FTA now. They have to approve it. They approve it, then that'll be maybe September of this year. And then of course you've got to have them built, because it's ADA with the ramp and the tie downs. It won't be till next year sometime if we do it, if it makes it through all those leads there.
Do you do or do not Safeway?
We do, yeah, we go Safeway. Yeah, we usually pick you up at your home and then we drop you off to wherever you wanna go. Yeah, so. Any other questions? All right, so we got, down here, any questions?
So, you know, we gave Jill an award, and this is one of the reasons why she got it. So, one of the things I do is I'm the pastor of a little church over here, but she wanted me to remind you that we have food back there and water, and you need to go get some. And the reason I mentioned the church thing is because when I was a kid, you couldn't get up and move when you were at church. But it's not like that now. You can get up and go and get your food and your water and come back. And also, please, when we're done, come around and visit everybody, because there's a lot of cool stuff here. Even some of you sitting in the audience do some neat things. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to the hospital.
My name's Heidi Decker-Fisher, and I am the Public Relations Liaison with Northern Cochise Community Hospital. I'm not originally from here. I'm from the East Coast. I just got here last June, and I drove across country with whatever I could fit in my car. So it's been an adventure. But I'm happy to say that, Northern Cochise Community Hospital is always improving on services and expanding. And if you're curious about the different departments and what they offer, I have a lot of pamphlets that we just created that explain, how in-depth the services are, and that you don't need to go to Tucson for something necessarily. We have a very highly developed imaging department. Our lab is great. We can handle almost anything the big cities can at this point, So just keep that in mind. And I also wanted to let you know that we have a pretty good staff of specialists at this point too. In cardiology, we have several, and for your kidneys and nephrology, vascular specialist, podiatry, urology, general surgery, dermatology, thanks to Jason Zebart from Benson Hospital, who happens to be here. And so, we're expanding in every way that we can think of, and I also want to tell you about what we're trying to do for the community at large. We run several different programs, one of which is we do a diaper bank once a month. I don't know if you've seen the posts on social media or heard about it, but it's actually been a really big success. We give out about 4,000 diapers a month, and that's in like 90 minutes. And I'm standing there, and it gets a little crazy, but it's definitely a wonderful thing to help people. And we've been having a blanket drive since the beginning of November, and so if you have blankets you want to, give away and help people, you can stop by any of our facilities and give them. There's a place to put them. And we're also revitalizing the senior center in Wilcox, which means that we're going to be doing more programming and instituting more classes. Things kind of fell apart during COVID, and it's just been difficult to get it back into shape, but now we're almost there. So I'm happy to say that is definitely coming along. We have our usual golf event to raise money for local scholarships that we do every year. You guys must know about the golf tournament, right? Well, this is our 28th year, and we do it to benefit students, local students, and older, people who are maybe changing careers, or some employees that work at our hospital that qualify for, continuing education. But we give scholarships for people going into studying healthcare. So I think that's all the new stuff I have. Yes.
Where's your senior center located?
That's right behind the hospital, actually, at 990 Scott Street. And I'll tell you, we do the diaper bank every second Wednesday of the month, and it's from 4 to 6 p.m. at that location.
Is it a metal building or?
I'm sorry?
Is it one of the metal buildings back there?
Well, where Sulphur Springs Medical Center is? It's like if you were in front of that and you were looking kind of straight ahead at Scott Street, you would just see it. It's a small building.
Okay.
Yeah. And we also do a diaper bank in San Simone once a month as well. on their commodities day, which is the first
Just,
Thursday of every
just for
month.
kids or for adults?
It's for everybody who needs them. So we try to keep as well stocked as we can. But like when I give out 4,000 diapers in one night, then it's a little more difficult to keep it well stocked. Any, more questions? It's all different sizes, whatever people wanna donate, so it varies, you know, there are baby blankets, there's large blankets, there's comforters, there's.
Wheelchair quilts?
I don't know, actually, probably, I would say so, but.
Cause our church group makes a whole bunch of those.
Is that right?
We can use another outlet.
Oh, we'd love to take them. We'd love that. Yeah, it'd be awesome, for sure. All right. Are there any other questions?
Well, I got it.
All right, I guess that's right. If you want any more information, I have tons of stuff up here on the specialist and the different departments.
Right. Radiology, picture taking, and other fun things.
I just learned you have another, what was the name of that town?
Oh, San Simone.
San Simone, because there's one about 50 miles west of Tucson. So I thought that's what we were talking about, and I thought, wow. The bus thing, he said you don't go to Tucson, but you go to San Simone, so it didn't quite make sense to me. But my name is Frank Rodriguez, so I'm the rep for Radiology Limited in Tucson, so I'd like to get with you later. And in fact, I'm with you. I know Mary Engelhardt at the hospital, so. So thanks for having me, folks. I just wanted to bring some awareness to you with regards to who we are and what we do. So how many have heard of Radiology Limited before? Wow. How many have had an MRI exam with us? Okay. So you guys are pretty well informed. One of the questions we get asked a lot basically is, are you guys in Sierra Vista? Are you in Wilcox? Are you here? Are you there? So we're basically based out of Tucson. We do have a center, the closest one to here, it's still far away, but it's off of Houghton Road. It's about 3 miles north of I-10, off of Houghton Road. It's our Rincon station. With that said, we also have facilities in Green Valley, Oro Valley, and then centrally located in Tucson. We are almost 100 years old. So we are the first radiology group in Tucson. We have over 50 board-certified subspecialized radiologists. And we pretty much receive patients from all over the southeastern and southwestern quadrant of Arizona, as well as from all over the state of Arizona. We even have seen patients over the years from the whole country, New York, California, and everywhere in between. So basically, besides MRIs, we do x-rays, CTs, mammograms, ultrasounds. We do a lot of special procedures that you can't find in this part of the state. Just a few vertebral body augmentation, you know, where they might fill your disc. You might have a collapsed vertebrae. We can fill it with bone cement. We do procedures like that. We do a lot of biopsies. A lot of really cool stuff. We have what we call a little suite where we have nurses on staff to watch patients while they're having certain types of biopsies and things like that. Some exams require that the patient, like a PET scan. Anybody ever have a PET scan? So you know what that's like. So you have to take this pretty much it's a fluid that you consume that's radioactive, and what that does is it highlights special areas in the body that maybe you have a tumor or a cancer. The sugars highlight those areas so we can identify it better in imaging. So Radiology Limited does a lot. We have been looking for opportunities to expand possibly out to Sierra Vista and this part of the state. At this time, we're just a little bit, kind of encumbered by a shortage of technicians, which is it's a nationwide shortage. So We just don't have enough techs. If anybody knows anybody that has, has a license to be a tech, they need a job, I can guarantee you a job tomorrow. So please contact me. I'm gonna leave my cards on the table there. I also brought some calendars, some 2025 calendars. They have adhesive on the back, so you can stick them on the wall or wherever, or just pin it, whatever. Now, the thing about this, there are 3 mistakes on the calendar. And we have had them corrected, but we had them on a cardstock model without adhesive. I did not bring those because I ran out, but I have quite a few here. My cards, I'm gonna leave my business cards, so if you guys have questions or you want anything like that, feel free to email me, it's on my card. Also, our website is on everything. I can't urge you enough to go on our website if you have specific questions. You can see what's available, what we do, where we're located, and some other really cool stuff like that. So with that said, are there any questions? Yes?
I would just like to say that I used to live in Tucson, and I've been going to Radiology Limited for probably 30 of the 40 years I've been here.
Oh.
In their patient portal, there is a complete record of everything that has ever been done at their facility. So I have everything done there, even if I have to go to Tucson for it. And I do that because if a doctor needs something or the insurance needs something, I can give it all to them. It's all right there, that both the visuals, if I can even look at them in my computer, which I can't, but somebody can, and also the records, the lab reports and stuff like that.
Great
So,
point.
It's been such a help for me in that regard, and, yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up. So, many of you have been to us before, you're curious as to where your records lie. We have patient portal accounts. Again, go to our website, it can instruct you how to create those accounts. All your accounts are there forever. You can also give us the permission to transfer medical records to your PCP. If you have a provider in New York, we can electronically send that information with your permission. So there's a lot of great resources on our website. We also have a lot of great literature. I brought a few things here that I'm gonna leave on the table there tonight for you guys to look at. But it's basically just a generalized, encapsulation of who we are, what we do, what we can do, and like in the future, we're really hoping to expand once we hopefully get out of this rut with the shortage of techs that we're experiencing at this time. Once we do that, then that gives us a go-ahead to go ahead and expand further. We do have competitors. Competition makes you better. So there are competitors out there. It's a good thing. We are the best. We'll tell you that. Been around the longest, I myself have been with Radiology Limited for 43 years. So I've seen the company grow from a small, almost mom and pop shop to what it's become today. It has changed a lot, and I've seen, when I started, our bread and butter was x-ray and mammography. We didn't do CT or MRI, that was at the hospital. We didn't have MRI, that came a little bit later. So we've expanded quite a bit. We're always looking for new opportunities and suggestions. If anybody has a suggestion, hey Frank, it'd be great if you guys could do this. Please shoot me an email, because a lot of the literature that we have printed over the years has been a result of comments like that, coming straight from the community. So I just want to thank you all for letting me come to your community, and it's quite a drive from Tucson, but I was really happy to come here and speak to you all and just bring awareness that the patient, you hold the power. If you're given a script from an imaging competitor of ours, and it has on top of their script, it says San Simon Imaging Center, whatever. You can go wherever you want. You don't have to go to that imaging center. It's perfectly legal to take that script and go wherever. So you hold that power. That's really key, because a lot of times if an entity has a vested interest in an imaging company, they're gonna try to keep the referrals in-house. That's not a bad thing, But if you have been to us before and you like Radiology Limited, if you wanna go to Radiology Limited, you might be led to believe you have to go to where it says on the script. Does that make sense? So know that it's legal to do that. You can take that script and go wherever you want. So, any other questions? Thank you very much for this opportunity.
So one of the things you may not know is that, I know you live in Cochise County, but you may not know that county governments are tasked by the state with a lot of responsibility. It really is a lot, and that gets put on to our supervisors. And this last November, we had an election, and we got a new supervisor, so I'm gonna invite him to come up and say a few words. Frank?
Frank.
Yeah, Frank.
So, Frank Antonori, last time I was here, all I did was talk, so I'm gonna talk just for a short amount of time, then I wanna listen to you guys and hear what you have to say, because now I'm on the other end of the equation, so now you can let me have it and let me know what's going on. Budget season started for the county. I've got some budget priorities. Of course, I have two other supervisors that have to, at least one of them has to agree with them. One of the big ones we're doing is we're trying to roll back the 2% property tax increase that you guys got last year. So we're gonna try to go back to the original property tax rate and give you guys a 2% property tax cut. We're trying to get a 3% pay raise for the sheriff's deputies, particularly the line cop guys, the guys that are out there on the beat. And that's mainly because we're losing them to DPS and other police agencies, and they're poaching our guys. So we're gonna try to help equalize that a little bit by bumping their pay up a little bit. We're gonna go through and find some efficiencies in county government to find some money so we can start paving more roads. I talked about that last time we were here. The county only gets about $9 million in HERF revenue, another $4 million from VLT, the vehicle license tax. That's only $13 million to do roads for this entire county, which is peanuts. So we met today with the public works guys. We're trying to find ways to save money and then try to get money from the general fund through cost savings elsewhere in the county, try to get more roads chip sealed and fixed in the county. One of the big things that's coming, and you may not like this, but I'm gonna just tell you it's coming, is they just got the port of entry now. It's being approved in Douglas, and you got 4 years till that port opens. And one of the things is it's gonna be putting a tractor trailer every 60 seconds on to the highways here. So you're gonna have a lot of truck traffic that's gonna probably be coming up 191. There's a plan to expand 191 to 4 lanes. And there's also an effort by myself and Ms. Gomez to put a rail line from Wilcox down to Douglas to try and take some of that truck traffic off of 191 and put it on rails and get it up here, but it's coming. And we just gotta deal with a way to mitigate the impacts of it as best we can. Of course, if you live, well, most of you guys live right around here, but down Elfrida and McNeil, obviously you're not gonna put 191 right through a 4-lane highway through there, so we have to have bypasses. We may have to look at other bypasses around certain populated areas, but those truckers are gonna be coming. And the same port, the carport is gonna be, still remain open for single vehicle traffic, so that volume will still be there. So you're gonna see a significant impact over the next 4 years as that port grows. There's already companies, I met with one today, they're buying all the property up down there to build warehouses and everything else, so it's gonna happen. The question is, how do we mitigate that impact? So over the next 2 years, with ADOT and of course with us at the county, we're gonna have public meetings to talk about possible routes and all the aspects of expanding 191 to deal with that increased truck traffic that's likely going to be coming up. Now, if you own a business on here, you might be happy about that, having truckers going up and down the road and stopping for lunch, and maybe you'll get a gas station now or something here that'll help out. Well, that's what you get when you get more. That's the upside. The downside is you're going to have a lot of traffic now going down this road, and ADOT's gonna have a plan on that. So I'm just letting you know, 4 years, that port opens in 4 years. So we got 4 years to figure this out, really 2 years, because ADOT is gonna start doing what they gotta do to have the roads ready to go from the tourists. Yeah, real quick, what is it?
My quick question is this: if ADOT starts putting in roads and they subcontract to people, can they be encouraged to subcontract with people who know how to put in a road? And I don't know whether it's I don't know if it's their cousin's son who got the contract or what, because the road that just went through two sun sites, on one end it looked beautiful, on the other end, it came through sun sites, and I don't know if they had it in for sun sites, but it's all rough and all gravelly, it's a
Oh,
mess.
it's probably just chip seal.
No, they redid it, and they redid it poorly, and I.
Oh,
191. And I've seen this before, we had one that they did it up north of here, and the
Yeah.
road went like this.
Yeah, I don't control ADOT contracting, you know, I
Yeah.
used to, a long time ago, but not anymore, when
Well,
I
I
was in
just
the
wonder,
legislature,
how
but
do
now.
we encourage ADOT to equitably and
Well,
appropriately
when they come
hire?
down here to talk about the scoping of that project, you could let them have
Okay.
it.
I didn't even know who to talk to about it because,
They'll be down here, yeah.
yeah.
So, what is the plan, and how are you gonna get the financing to be able to get the road? Because the federal grant is just declined.
Yeah, so the grants are being, so I talked to Juan Siscomani, a lot of those grants that got paused are gonna, and we've already seen several of them get turned back on. There's more that's gonna be coming, the good news is there's gonna be a drive for infrastructure to improve the economy nationwide. So you're gonna see a lot more money going into those entities that support economic growth and business growth, and that's black and white for what we're trying to do here. It's gonna be a boom for Douglas, obviously, and also most likely Wilcox is also gonna benefit significantly from that, because there'll probably be more truck stops up there, and if there's a rail line that goes up, they're talking about an inland port possibly next to I-10 where the rail line can transfer to truck traffic, so they get right on the highway and whatnot up there, so that grant money, again, will likely not hit for another 10 years. So we have to apply for it. That's the first part, is we gotta work with the state on the plan, and then get that scoped up so they can apply for the federal funds, and that will go through the normal appropriations process, and then ADOT will get the federal funding, and then we will also get supplemental funding from the state. I know Senator Gowan is already looking at special appropriations to help with some of the impacts to 191 and to 80, by the way. 80 also is gonna see some traffic going that way towards Benson. So there's gonna be impact to this part of the county due to that port. So that's another thing going on. Of course, we all know about the AMA. Yeah, I met with the governor. I met with the governor Thursday last week. She was down here over in Sierra Vista, myself and Supervisor Gomez. Not much, we only got like 5 minutes with her. She was talking to everybody. But we brought up our concerns about it. We know something has to be done. I'm just not, the bill that she introduced, there's some good stuff in it, and there's not some good stuff in it. It takes a lot of local control away from the county in that bill, particularly with planning and zoning. It practically wipes out our ability to do planning and zoning. It also has too much authority in an appointed board. Granted, she told me, though, there'll be local guys that get appointed, men and women that get appointed, but it's still coming from the speaker, the Senate president, the minority leaders in both houses, and the governor. So they're all up in Phoenix. So, you know, it's just a concern. So she said she will work with the opposite side of the equation, the Republicans that have a different bill. So somewhere between her bill that she introduced, well, she had, I forgot the senator named Priya, she's from Tucson, a state senator, and then of course the Republican bills that are in the Senate and the House. Somewhere in between there is hopefully going to be the compromise, and it will basically undo the AMA for whatever that's something, that new, whether it's regional or rural water management or whatever the definition is. It'll be probably something new, invented, you know, like we have AMAs and IMAs, and this will be a RWMA. So.
Any chance the AMAs will just go away and we'll get something different?
That's what I just said. So the two bills significantly amend Title 45, Yeah, so the both of them do a lot of change to Title 45. So they're both proposing something other than an AMA. The governor's promoting what she's calling a rural water management area, an RMWA. And then I forgot what the Republican bill has in there, but it's something, some rural management area or something like that. So it'll be a new 3-letter word or 4-letter word, but it will not have the statutory authority under Title 45 that an AMA has. It'll be a compromise. It's gonna be interesting. I've been following it, and I've been meeting with Chad Campbell from the governor's staff, who I serve with in the legislature, so I'm kind of cordial with him, even though he's on the other side of the aisle from me, so at least we can talk to each other. And of course, our delegation that's up there. So we'll figure out something in the middle. Neither is gonna get what they want. So there will be a compromise of some sort, and we need that. We need the compromise. I am still convinced we will not be able to save water and recharge water. We have got to find a way to bring water in here, and short of a plan, at least in 5 to 10 years, to bring water into the basin here, we're gonna be in trouble. I mean, that's just the reality. So I want to try to push the legislature to look at that, find other ways to bring water in here. It's not going to be easy or cheap, but if we don't do it and start doing it now, and we said this 10, 15 years ago, well, if we don't start it now, here it is 15 years later, we still haven't done anything. So we really need to start working that effort. It's just not gonna happen. Yes, sir.
How much foreign control is in Cochise County?
How much
How much foreign control is over the water in Cochise County?
Foreign control? I mean, the Forest Service and BLM control lands that cover certain parts of it. They issue well permits through the state. The state does all the well permits.
So all the water in Cochise County is owned by American citizens?
Oh yeah, you're talking about like if Saudi Arabia was growing stuff here? Yeah, I'm not aware of that. Now, we have out-of-state companies that are here, right? But I'm not aware of any foreign, but I know, unless somebody does. I don't know. I'm not aware of that. Speaking of that, we did have a meeting with the county engineer and the flood. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
Okay, thank you very much. I have several questions for you. Okay,
Sure.
first of all, I want to say I appreciate you being here
Okay.
very much for the questions. But I have a couple questions for you. And one question I have is that you're talking about the grants for the road, for the 191, for the road to be improved and go into 4 lanes and on and on. Where does corporate ag fall in that with their contribution for the roads being done? Because, and I'm sorry for the ignorance, I don't know if you live here, but there are hundreds and hundreds of trucks, big trucks that are going up and down our roads. So where does that accountability come to them? Or are we looking at if the grants are, because we know grants don't always cover everything that we hope that they'll cover. So the rest of that will come out of our taxes?
So the revenue right now that generates that, there's 2 major tax revenue sources. One is what's called the HERF, the Highway User Revenue Fund, which is an 18 cents a gallon tax on gas. And then there's also 2 additional taxes for truckers. Anybody that drives the trucks know there's a federal gas tax on diesel that's significantly more than what you pay for type 2 diesel or regular gasoline. And then there's an additional 18-cent federal tax on gasoline. So you're paying 36 cents a gallon for taxes right now when you go buy gas. Half of that goes to the feds. That's some of the money that we're trying to get back, which is tax money you paid already into the system. So that's, and then the truckers pay an additional tax, and they also pay, to the state to register their vehicles if they happen to register in Arizona. The axles and the number of the weights on it, plus if they're over a certain weight, they pay special use permits to the state. So there is a revenue source to offset some of it, but it's under the federal highway system. That's the reason for the federal highway system, is to have commerce on these highways, right? So they don't try to penalize truckers driving trucks up and down the highways, because they are creating economic activity. So there's not an effort to discourage that.
So forgive me, because I'm not sure, maybe I'm not comprehending properly, but are our taxes going up? Will our taxes go up for all these roads?
No, not that I can foresee. I
How
don't see
about what
any-
you can't foresee?
Well, I control your county taxes, okay, and I'm not raising your taxes for at least 4 years until you vote me out and somebody else comes in and raises them. But I'm not raising your taxes, I'm lowering your taxes. So I don't know. The gasoline tax is set by the state.
Does it go, excuse me, does that
Yeah, so
go,
I don't know what,
does that gasoline tax go back to ADOT to put in these roads?
yes.
Okay.
ADOT gets the 18 cents a gallon, it's apportioned by population.
Yeah.
The counties get some of that money, the cities get some of that money, and then the state keeps some of that money. And then we also get federal highway dollars.
Right.
It comes out of that other chunk of money.
Okay.
But that's gotta be shared with 50 other states, right? So our congressional delegation needs to try to pull more of that in for us, and that's what we're trying to do. But that's a separate tax, it doesn't, I guess you could argue maybe your federal income tax, but I don't see the feds raising your income tax either. I don't see any tax increases coming on any taxes.
Because roads are expensive to
They are
put in.
expensive.
And if they're running truckers on them, it's
They're
very expensive to keep
$37,000
them.
a road mile to pave, and they're $17,000 a road mile to chip seal. So they are expensive, yeah. So, but building a road is also way more expensive.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
My last question, I promise.
sure.
I'm in Elfrida, and so when you talk about it not being expanded in Elfrida and going around, do you have any idea where it's gonna go around?
ADOT's gonna be doing surveys, and they're gonna try to find the best, because they have to have a plan to acquire easements, to put that through, which means they have to buy private property from people on either side of that road. So hopefully they can come to an agreement and buy that land, because of course you know what happens if you don't come to an agreement. The
Yeah.
government condemns it and pays you base value for it. So most of the time, it's better to come to an agreement before the combination part comes on. But I don't know where they're gonna go. It isn't up to us, other than, I'll have the same power as you do. It's just going to those meetings and saying, hey, we don't want it to go this way, we'd rather it go this way. But it's gonna go either this way or this way. I mean, it's gonna happen. It's just, we can control to a degree where that road is gonna go and whatnot. So, if you want it to go around here and not down through here, and you want it to go out this way or that way, I mean, that's gonna be part of the discussion. I do know we looked at it, Elfrida, it's just too, there's nowhere to widen that road there, so we gotta go around. But here, you could probably get away with widening it, here, so I don't know. And it's gonna be a factor of cost too. If you can't really justify going around Pierce, Sunsites, because there's already enough easement to widen the road here, it's probably gonna go through here. So they don't have to buy land to widen the road. That's, you know, roughly what it is. What else was I gonna add?
Right, guys?
Oh, sure.
Suggestion. We have a newsletter the library puts out, and we can write an article that covers the state share of revenue, cash granted
Yeah.
boards and all of that on the.
Oh, yeah, transportation guy.
Yeah.
And I heard about that from Searle 2 days ago. We're trying to redo the HERF formula, and he's like, oh, you're opening up this can of worms. But we need to do something. Cochise County suffers from a lack of population, and I know a lot of you guys don't want to see this huge population growth. I get it. But when they distribute tax revenue, they distribute it in Arizona based on population. And because of that, the two big counties suck up all our money, right? So when you see all the nice shiny buildings and police cars and all the big roads, that's because they get all that money because of how many people they have up here. But the problem is we have, and I wish Jason was here, he's our public works guy. We have a disproportionate ratio of people to road miles. Right, so we even though we don't have a lot of population, we have a lot of roads, and that's the unfair part. That's why I was talking about redoing the HERF formula to add a factor in there for road miles, not just population, and that's where Richard's like, oh, the cost of granted roads, which was the agreement that was agreed to 20 years ago?
Oh, longer than that.
Yeah, to how we would distribute HERF revenue. But it's gotta change, it's just, and another thing I'd like to do, but this is just something that has to be done through the courts, is try to overturn the one man, one vote ruling that the Supreme Court made with regard to the apportionment of Senate seats. And at the time, I could see why the Supreme Court thought that was a good idea, and they said, no, we have our representatives based on population, so the Senate seats should be based on population, but what that has done, it has centralized power in Maricopa County, because they go by the same population distribution as the House seats. And it used to be, we used to have 2 senators per county. And if you had a system like they have at the federal government, yeah, South Dakota's only got 500,000 people in it, but they got 2 senators. Yeah, and California's got 34 million people in it, but they got 2 senators. That distributes the power so that you don't screw over the little states. And what's happening here is that very same thing. You have 19 legislative districts out of 30 that encompass parts of Maricopa County right now. And you have senators, a good number of them, it's more than half, it's like 16 or 17 that are from Maricopa County now. So they could literally do whatever they want up there and just vote all the rural counties out. So bringing that lawsuit back to try to get another opinion from the Supreme Court is something I'd like to do to get a little bit more control back into the rural counties. We won't be able to do anything for the House seats, but at least Cochise County would get 2 senators, and that will pull 1 senator out of Maricopa County. They'll fight that tooth and nail, but we got to fight that fight. They're going to keep growing, and you got 1 senator now that covers 5 counties right now, right? Our current state senator covers 5 counties, right? So there's 5 senators that can provide more input from the rural perspective into the legislature. That's something I'd like to really push, and I know there'd be a lot of support for the current delegation, because that's another Senate seat that they get to run for. But yeah, yes, ma'am.
Before you were asked these questions by the lady back here, you were gonna talk about, I don't know, it was the water or something you were gonna.
Oh, the recharge, yeah. So I met with the county engineer in the flood control district. So we get there's a flood control district in Cochise County. It comes out of your property taxes. What we're doing now is what used to be just like concreting washes in certain areas. What we're doing is we're gonna take that money and now we're gonna design water catchments and recharge to control flooding, but at the same time create additional recharge. So the focus going forward now on all the flood control district projects are finding areas that have potential flooding issues. So we're still using it for flood control, but instead of just forcing the water to just basically put it into playa there, before it gets to the playa, we'd like to develop catchments to slow it down. And so our county engineer and her team, they're gonna be working on developing projects that will have a recharge factor to do what we can to at least get some more recharge going into the basin. So that's something we just did today. It's gonna start doing more recharge. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. It ain't gonna solve the problem, but it could slow it significantly. Yes?
I lived in Tucson, as I said, for a long time before coming out here. And one thing they have is you can apply to the city and get one of those big tanks and guttering to put on your house. It's
That's
part
nice.
of a program. Now, the only caveat they have is if there's a fire on your street and they need that water, they can take it. That's the only caveat they have. And so I don't know if it's a grant program or what, but certainly, we have so many, especially older people out here who've lived here a long time. They're having to haul water and all kinds of stuff. Well, this water could at least mean they could water their garden, they could bathe and boil it if they have to drink. Because the water problem for these folks, their wells are shot. They're not, and they have no money. Or the other thing is that there be a fund to assist low-income people or certain categories, whatever the category, to re-drill their well and get it so they have a functioning well. Those are 2 programs I've heard of elsewhere that might be useful for the people right now in this county, in this area, in this valley. Let's put it that way, in this valley.
Yeah, I got you. That's gonna be tough. The budget that we have right now doesn't have anything in that category.
Those tanks are not that expensive.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm getting ready to put one in on my place right down the road from here, and it's like $4,000.
Well, $4,000 is a drop for,
Okay.
compared to redo, no. Compared to a $30,000 re-drill of a well.
I got you.
Yeah.
It's something I could probably try to take a look at. I just don't want to promise you anything.
No,
I
I'm
don't
putting
think
it
it's
out
gonna-
there. I'm putting it
Yeah.
out there in everybody's mind, so maybe it'll happen.
And then there was one other thing I'm having a brain lock on that I was gonna talk about. All right, but That's all I can think of. So if anybody else has any comments, you know, you can, oh, there's another guy over there, go ahead.
First of all, let state know that each one of us is worth 50,000 city folk. That will help.
Well, I can't hear him.
Oh, sorry about that. Are you a person we would get in touch with if we have problems with planning and zoning?
Yes and no. I am actually the appeal authority for planning and zoning. So if you go to the planning and zoning board and you don't like what they do, you come to me, and then we are the sort of hearing officer to either agree with or overturn what planning and zoning did.
That
So,
works. Thank you.
so yes and no. And let me just bring up some stuff, because there was some misinformation. I want to add this. For those of you that are sort of these opt-out folks, I support that wholeheartedly. There was some misinformation put out about a recent zoning thing that came before the board. It had nothing to do with the opt-out. And I want to make sure everybody understands, if you buy property in Cochise County that's zoned residential, not RU4, but it's like SR 46 for 46,000 square foot, which is basically an acre. So if you buy a 1 acre parcel and another 1 acre parcel, another 1 acre parcel, another 1 acre parcel, and you want to clam it together and turn it into RU4, and your neighbors who all own 1 acre parcels and built nice houses on 1 acre parcels and what used to be subdivision, you know, aren't happy with you putting up a unique home or a trailer or RV on that property, that's a whole different story than if you buy RU4 and build an opt-out on RU4. So what happened with the board is there was information put out. There was a gentleman that bought 4 lots, tried to combine them, and tried to get the zoning changed from SR 46 to RU4, which is rural 4, and then put a mobile home on it. And we turned that down because the neighbors were very upset. And I looked at their houses on Google Earth. They had really nice houses. And if I built a $300,000, $400,000 house, and there's all, you know, a guy coming in now and throwing, you know, whatever he throws up, which was zoned a 1 acre residential lot, I would be a little uptight too. So it's caveat emptor, buyer beware. If you knowingly buy property that's zoned residential, don't try to say, oh, you're screwing me over, I want to opt out because we won't let you combine we let him combine the 4 lots. We just said you got to keep it zoned for what it's zoned. And so he can't do it. So, but he was telling everybody we're against opt-out, and that is not the case at all. We're not going to change that. We support your freedom, but you need to buy the right parcel, right? A parcel that allows you to do that. Don't buy a parcel in a subdivision and then say, I want to change it to RU4 so you can do what you want, and all your poor neighbors go nuts over that fact. So I just want to put that, that's all I got. I'll hang out, and after the rest of the speakers go, I'll stay a little while if anybody wants to talk to me, but I could give you a business card too, but you can find me on the county website and send me emails or call me if you need to. So it's great. Thank you for letting me be here. Sorry for taking
How big is Cochise County? I think it's bigger than the state of Connecticut and Rhode Island combined, am I right?
38
large county. One of the reasons I live here is because I feel safe here. We got the door open. My house is available right now. It's not open, unlocked. And the reason is because we have a sheriff that cares about our safety, and so I'm invited to come up and talk about that.
It's always good to come back and see everybody here. This is such a cool community when it comes to what you do. And I want to start off saying my condolences to one of your neighbors that was murdered here about a month and a half ago. I mean, my team jumped on that night, and let me just say this, you know, that call came in, and we got a blessing on the fact that she got out over here and got away and got to report that, because I think we would have had a double homicide, that's my opinion on that. And she got out, reported it. This guy, as you know, is transient in nature, and she made it very difficult for us to find. After that, my team was out all night looking for him, and trust me, we had every highway working all over this guy, because he's a dangerous guy. He just got out of prison in October went on one of the date sites and pulled the gun on a girl that he was dating, just met her, pulled the gun in Tucson, drove into Cochise County here, had her by gunpoint, again, kidnapping her, when he got stopped by DPS, and everybody knows what DPS stands for, right? Did you phone the sheriff? So that's what happened, he called us, when they realized he had a criminal act, and sadly though, and I get it, she was very scared, so he did a plea on that, got I think it was less than a year, and got out in October, went to probation, filed his paperwork, and gave his new address. They didn't click it right away. He gave the address of the state prison, and walked out, and I can talk about a lot about this case, but I tell you, I want to commend my men and women. They were out there all night. I came out the next morning early, I was in Alfredo, when my team back there, I'll introduce them in a minute. Actually, we talked that morning in our morning brief, and I said, let's give it to the public, let's give it to you all, help me find this maniac, this animal. And you did, We got a tip that he was out here by Pierce in a vacant trailer that he was squatting at. And by the way, there's no law that says if you squat that you own it. You call us and we'll come arrest you for burglary, just let you know. But, so my guys went out there, he was there, and I'll just tell you how this went down. We surrounded the place, we got our tactical team in there. As a tactical team, I was there too, as the tactical team was trying to get him to come out, they were moving up with the armored vehicle, they had their ram out, he came out with a gun, and which is displaying deadly force. We had two choices, put the ram through him or shoot him. We were already momentum with the ram, we went right through him, he went through the trailer, and he lived. You and I would be dead, but he lived. And now he's sitting in our jail. He's a very violent guy. He had a violent warrant out of New York. He also had the probation warrant out of Cochise County because he obviously never showed up again. So I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get into the investigation beyond that, but I'm telling you, thank you all for standing and giving us the trust and respect to get this guy when we did. So he's in our jail. Until he goes to trial and is adjudicated, then he goes to prison for hopefully a long, long time. Yeah, long time. So, and that's one thing I'm very sad. You know, when it comes to Cochise County, and thanks Frank for the 3% that we're talking about, you know, and the reason we say that's so important is, and I've said that, you know, I'm the voice of public safety for you. You trusted me to be your sheriff. I just hit my 13th year, my 41st year in law enforcement, and if I say, God, he's looking young still, thank you. If you're thinking, if you're saying anything different, don't tell me, please don't tell me. But is the fact that, you know, we've been very responsive to you and your needs, and that is, but when it comes to Cochise County, there's two things, and they've done surveys in the past, and there's two things that you all want. Frank hit on one of them. He's the business side of the county. I'm the public safety side of the county. Collectively, we can serve you well, and that's working out well for Frank and I. On that is the fact that roads, he spoke on that, and the other one is public safety. That's what you guys get out of here, public safety, your fire, the sheriff's office for the rural folks, and the city. Trust me, these small towns don't have a lot of resources, so when they have a problem, guess who they call? And I'm not saying that in a bad way, because those people vote for me too. And so we always want to be a good steward of the public safety and the money that's provided to us through your taxes and our grants. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Grants are supplemental to us, and we use them wisely, and we go after them wisely. 130 million, I think we're at right now, where we've actually went out and got money to bring here to offset general funds. 40, 50 brand new vehicles with a 3-year maintenance program, overtime for personnel costs, personnel special assignments, things like that have really helped us a lot. And like I said, when it comes to, we have 4 facilities in the county that we have a border operations center, I'll talk about that. We have a SCA Regional Communication Center. I was meeting some folks from outside the county, but Sheriff, we want to jump on that because we're going statewide with that. That's going to be statewide comms. In my 4 decades, my deputies could be up in Phoenix taking a mental health subject up there, and they have radio communications right back to the center. In fact, our new radios, which are $6 million for radios in every police and fire, in fact, we got them right there, that came through a grant with us. Everybody got, so all your public safety folks here are all thinking the same way. But he could actually do this radio. He could be in California in the fires and talk to dispatch. Because they're cell-based. It just enhances our ability to do the job. It truly does. I'm so excited about the innovation. And that regional communication center was built, and all the IT infrastructure was built by a private donor. Didn't cost you a penny. And let me tell you, there's a lot of money in that. Second thing is our Wilcox remodel. The Wilcox substation, which was part of the court, taking inmates from the jail in Wilcox inside and remodel center was done $0 to you. Our training center, $0 to you, and our range was $0. And then our border center, like I said, there's 4 of them. That's the stuff we like to look at, because Frank's right. This is a rural county. I get so sick of going to Maricopa and Pima County, and they have such a large tax base. And this is something that Frank hit on with DPS too, and I wanna echo that. So they asked for, they make $65,000 starting off, DPS. Did you phone the sheriff? And they top out in 8 years, like $92,000, $93,000. They make as much as my lieutenants that usually been here 20 years. Let's just be real. They asked for a, 28% increase this year from the state. They're gonna get, on the budget, it's looking at 10%. That brings their starting salary to $71,000. And kudos to any cop that can make that kind of money starting off. My deputies can go to Maricopa County and start with Tempe PD, any Mesa, and they take them in a minute with a $10,000 sign-on bonus, and they'll start. DPS guy left, one of my guys left a couple months ago, 8-year guy, and he started in the 80,000. He was making close to 60. You see how frustrated I get with that. You look at my correction folks. My correction people, they have one of the toughest jobs, and this is Kenny Bradshaw on the back. My jail, 39-year guy, deputy warden from the state, retired. And now he's been with us, longest serving, I think 13, 14 years, something like that. They start at $47,000 a year. And that's a long ways from when I took over 13 years ago. My deputies start at $57,000. It took us a lot to get to that. The average deputy salary in Arizona right now is close to $65,000. And I'm not saying we're ever gonna get rich here, but we wanna be competitive to our talent around the state. Otherwise, they're gonna leave. The new generation are not like us older guys that you put a collar, we followed you for 40 years like me, going, hey, I still wanna work here, I'm not getting paid nothing. But the bottom line is we have to be good to our public safety folks here, and I'm the advocate to do that, and I'll continue to do it. And so 3%, when they're looking at 10 to 20%, Valley's making 20,000 more, but we'll take it, because listen, we understand, you guys are paying those salaries, we work for you. But I'm very impressed with my men and women. And with that, I'm gonna say, Kenny, guy in the first cowboy to the right, like I said, I just introduced him a minute ago, with my support and attention. The guy with the green coat on, that's Tom Leaney's my chief of staff. Tom's 50 years, when's your 50 years?
July.
July, 50 years, retired as police chief from service to the police department, 38 years there. He served as the marshal whenever, like the police chief in the city, in one of the cities, or the marshal. Like now we're covering the marshal's office with one of our lieutenants. I mean, Tom went over there and served for me, covered until they got themselves back on their feet. To the left of him is Tal Parker. Tal's got over 40 plus years of public service. Retired Marine, and he's been with us over 20 some years. He's retiring. When's your last day, Tal?
April 30th.
And I tell you, I tried to talk about him. Luke Davison's one of your area sergeants. This guy has stepped up and do more for the Douglas region. If you haven't, I know he's been out here doing a lot with you guys. That's part of my cultural, is the fact that we work for you. How do we give back to you? Do charity events, do outreach events. Thank you, Zeus, for everything you're doing down here too. Yes, you should. He's out there working his butt off for you, so I'm proud of that. And Rich Morales, right there. Rich and his wife, Rich is from Bisbee, his dad was a former judge down there. Rich has been with, how many years, Rich?
Almost 30.
Almost 30 years. He's going to be retiring here, June, July area after 30 years, and his wife's the risk director for Cochise County. So no matter where we go, we're going to thank you, Rich, for your service too on 30 years. So I mean, I keep watching everybody retire, and they're like, Sheriff, what are you doing? I go, I don't know. But I love what I do. I truly do. I love what I do. I love dealing with people, even in the worst of times. I really do. Kenny and I were coming back from lunch the other day, and this car turned the corner off 80, and we're coming back, and Bisbee comes off, and real close, and she's got her hand on the phone talking, and we're all pretty, let's just say this, we're rural folks, we all have that, we do things, but she came really close to my car, so I stopped her and said, hey, we're a hands-free state now, you might want to put that down. So I walk up to the window, I go, how you doing? And she, I'm on the phone. And I'm like, oh, that's the first. That's the first. 2 hours before that, I went to work about 6 in the morning that morning. You guys know it's still pretty dark out 6 in the morning. So I'm coming through Palominas. I'm trying to get the office early, get some things done. We had meetings all day. So I'm coming through there, and all of a sudden I see this car go by, the Palomino School with no headlights on. It was dark as all. Little parking lights were on it, I'm like, and in this world, we see that, that's smuggling usually for us, we're trying to get out. So I spin and truck with a tonneau cover on, I'm going, here we go, we're gonna start this up quick. So I hit the lights, kept going a little bit, then finally pulled over, and I walked up, and the lady, she had 2 little kids in her car seat in the back, which is always good. And I said, ma'am, I see your license, I introduced myself, and she goes, I said, ma'am, do you think it's dark out here? She goes, yeah, and I have a hard time seeing, it's really dark. I go, he says you don't have your headlights on. Oh, that's it. You gotta love that. You gotta love that. We make 13,000 traffic stops a year average. 13,000 traffic stops. We write between 2,000 and 3,000 tickets. Over 10,000 people change the behavior hopefully after we stop them. We're not a traffic unit here at the sheriff's office, so if we stop you, it's egregious, or you provide the attitude that you don't care, then we're gonna make sure you read it for a couple of days. So, and that's just it. I mean, that's just how we do things. But yeah, we're very excited about serving and doing what we do. And I can't say enough about the work that's being done here collectively. All the local law enforcement, sheriff's office, your troopers. I tease them a lot, but you have to, you know. Folks, you know why you have right-of-way fence on the state highways? You guys know why you have right-of-way fences? You know, what's it? Who said it? Keep animals off the roadway. But you know the other side of that coin? Keep DPS out of your communities. I'm trying to help you all, getting So, a couple things I wanted to hit on real quick. I know I'm not going to give you guys, we're going to be here to answer some questions with you, though. Is a couple quick programs. Is the fact that our mental health program, rural counties don't have mental health, and what they do have this week one, it sucks. So for 12 years, Commander Bradshaw and I have done everything we can internally with our jail, the external part of patrol, getting out there to help people who are in need before it becomes a crisis and you see it on national news. So we have a team, a project right now that's the grant's got another year on it, and we've already got some resources, hopefully backfilled what I'm being told. At no cost to you, we have a doctor and 3 staff that we actually respond to your needs anytime you have, that can come out there and address it. It pulls us out of there, gets us back on our gets us back on the road. Quick story on that. It's coming back, going to Tucson, and I heard on my radio that a guy was jumping in front of traffic out there on the highway. So here I come, and there he was. And so I pull in there, and after 41 years, there's not a lot of people that I haven't dealt with, let me put it that way. So I pulled in there, and he walks up, hey, Danos. I said, hey, man, you all right today? And, no, hey, take care of my family, will you? I said, let me do something better for you. Let me take care of you. Called the care team, they were 15 minutes, they drive on my cars, they don't wear uniforms like this, they dress like everyday people, and we have to wear the costume for this purpose. But within 15 minutes, they had him in the car, placed up in Tucson, and I saw him about a month later, he goes, Sheriff, thank you for saving my life. That's what that care team is doing. So if you have a need for them, it costs you nothing to get them out there and work on that when it comes to that. I'm gonna finish up, I know the border's always a hot item for everybody. I will say this, any elected official works off their reputation and their influences. The position means nothing unless you have that. And if you don't, it's all about, we can talk about the laws, we can talk about roads, we can talk about anything you want to talk about. At the end of the day, it's about your quality of life. Is it not? You're here because you care about your quality of life. And I think that's so important, and that's what I served before, under my lane of authority. People ask me all the time, Sheriff, you run elections? No, thank God, I've never run an election all my life. These guys do that. I mean, I don't run the health department. What I do, when during the COVID thing, people are like, hey, Sheriff, I'm not the health guys. These guys want to wear a mask in the shop, that's up to them, otherwise stay out of it, it's my lane, you know? But we gotta stay in our lanes on that, and I truly believe in that. But I truly believe that our influence and reputation what drives our successes. If people didn't trust the sheriff's office, didn't trust our culture, do I have complaints? Last year we handled over 40,000 calls for service. For a rural county that's the 38th largest landmass county in the country with less than 100 deputies. And I have a 75-25% ratio. 75% have to be directly related to patrol, the other 25% work special ops. And I'm telling you, I think, if not the majority, work under a state grant that the state pays for their salaries, which helps us a lot of my leadership team. That was a program I did with Governor Ducey. This Border Operations Center, well, let me just, before I talk about that, last 4 years in my 4 decades was the worst I've seen on this border. No matter if you liked the administration, you didn't like the administration, it doesn't matter, it was the worst. Look at the non-political stats, it'll tell you it was the worst we've ever seen here. put it in perspective, over 4,000 people were put in our jail for border-related crimes. That was done through a collective effort of people that care in this county to wear back. And let me tell you, we had a lot of deputies injured. We had a lot of law enforcement injured in this county. One died, an agent, and one of our officers was killed not far from here. Because they put their lives on the line for you, whether you're sleeping at night, whether it's 10 o'clock in the morning. 2 weeks ago, about a month ago, two guys I stopped in a pursuit that caused 2 or 3 accidents that definitely had a real strong ability and will. They had a tactical AR, tactical shotgun, he had a 45 stuck right here. That took me into a business thing after a pursuit, and when we got out of the car, they both faced me, they wouldn't comply with me, the gun was right there, I'm like, I'm in trouble. I was dressed like this going home to get my personal vehicle, go to Tucson for a personal event, I went, shit. And that's what we've been dealing with for the last 4 years, and that's what these guys and gals have put themselves for. I am so proud of what they've done in this county to keep you safe. There ain't a county in this country that's touched that. There's not a county. From our financial crime unit, chase the money, you find your victim, you find your suspect. Chase the product. The 4 border counties in Arizona, we've led the nation in fentanyl over the last several years. Last year, in 2024, Arizona seized just under 80 million fentanyl pills that came through one of these 4 counties. 24% of all the fentanyl in the country seized came from the Santa Cruz or Cochise County. Folks, that's an epidemic that's killing Americans every day. That's an attack on our country. But we stood up with that. I got federal sheriffs, and I'll call them out right now, that say it's not my problem. I will argue all day it's all your problems. We have to stand united on that. We have to work on that. From a 7-year-old stuffed in a trunk being smuggled by the cartels is inhumane. This border center stands for law, stands for justice. We have 1,200 to 1,300 cameras deployed from throughout Arizona up to south of Phoenix, all the way just shy of San Diego and into New Mexico. We see 65 to 70,000 humans trying to get away from law enforcement every year. That's a partnership that is working. As you might have heard, so DOD, Department of Defense, with the new administration said, hey, and you gotta look, we brought in every presidential candidate here. We brought in Speaker Kevin McCarthy, we brought in Mike Johnson, CS, Dr. Phil was here, Tom Holman, who I served on Homeland with, was here. We've had more people come, not because they like the sheriff, not because the sheriff's a good looking guy, or looks like him. It's because we're doing it right. We're doing it right. And what we got going on here is one of a kind. So I got a call about 3 weeks ago saying, colonel's like feral cats or whatever. I know Frank's a military, I don't understand what I'm saying when I say that. Well, Sheriff, can you meet the general this weekend? I said, oh, I'd love to. Thank you, Sheriff, but I'm not gonna be here. I said, I'm going to DC. I had a big meeting in DC with the feds on what we're doing here and what we wanna do with some of the operations. We have great engagement right now. And the general came, my team back here gave the red carpet to them. They were doing site surveys on the southwest border to include Davis Mountain, poor guys, and Fort Bliss, all over, to say, where do we set up the Department of Defense hub to operate the southwest border with the military? I got a call 2 days later, we got a text and it says, sir, you've been selected. We'll look forward to working with you. They just did their dedication this week. I went up to, very small, informal, there's like 6 generals, 5 or 6 generals up there and about 20 colonels. And, but they'll be embedded into our center. Think about that. There'll be thousands of these guys running around here. I know they said 500, I'm just telling you, they're bringing in what you can't imagine. But why I say that to you is this, just like Frank said, yeah, our population may not grow. You know, I drive down 92, I wonder wherever you people are coming from. But as our population may not grow, that fort is an economic boost, and now is going to bring in all these soldiers that on the weekends, and they're from all over, are going to shop in these communities. They're going to come out, they're going to travel, they're going to stay, they're going to spend their money, and we'll use it wisely. But the bottom line is, that is a reason we're doing what we're doing. There's a couple other things I can't talk about right now, but I think you're going to be very, very pleased with that. I just found out some things today. But again, it goes back to, you guys have allowed us to do our job. I know there's sheriffs around the country that, well, my community beats me up all the time. Then maybe you're not doing something right. I don't know. But, we feel like we are, and if we're not meeting your needs, you know, as I close out here, please let me know. If you're not happy with something, let me know. I got a complaint the other day, they sent it to everybody. Sheriff, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't know anything about this. Why didn't you call the leadership team back here? None of us knew anything about it. But no, they blasted it. And then by the time I look into it, it's like, oh, okay. And the bottom line is, let's get the facts on the table and see what I legally have authority to do. And then we'll decide from there. We always try to find that common ground with them. So with that, thank you so much. Allow you to serve. Anybody here in the room got any questions?
I'm new to this community and I was wondering what we would be concerned about, maybe that's happening here or be aware of, and just know what to do or whatever.
That's a good question, and I'll say this to you, is your community's no different. I've talked to many in the room over the last 13 years I've been your sheriff, and I'll say this, and before I was a commander, lieutenant, so I spent a lot of time running around the county, working for Sheriff Deaver, solving issues there too. I would say this, you've got people swing dope here. You got people that don't show a lot of respect for their neighbors. Call us. Jesus Davison in the back, he's really good about going talking to people, make sure, and Lieutenant Morales, we'll go address them. We will. And we'll use the authority we have. And that's the partnership with P&Z. They don't have one of those not respecting when it comes to the yards and doing things. We will address it. We're not afraid to offend people. Hardest job as elected official. No, true, the law will offend them. I just got to enforce it. But the hardest job as an elected official, everybody thinks, oh, the governor or a mayor. Are you kidding? Who goes out for 4 years, holds people accountable, gives them tickets when they do things, arrests their loved ones, houses a bunch of people in our jail, and then in 4 years, hey, re-elect me, will you? You better be doing something right. And but something I will say to you this, and there's two things. One is this border, there's no way the criminal cartels with the got-away problems and fentanyl is going to stop and say, hey, we're done. You got a new coach in America, we're done. No, we're going to get more violent. I'm telling you. We see that. Right now they're in malls going, we got to regroup. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully I'm wrong on that. Second thing I'll tell you this is, there's a society out there right now that's just reckless and don't care. You've seen some of the reports, I'll get with you just a second. There's don't let me forget. There's on the east side up on I-10, these truck areas, these rest areas. Let me tell you, be vigilant when you're out there, especially at night. I mean, the individual that got attacked the other day pulls into that same rest area about a little before 10. Next thing you know, he calls 911. He's being assaulted, disconnected, calls back, and pretty much we hear a real bad situation going on. Our 911 operators do. He's on life support. And we're waiting for the family to come in. It's a really sad situation. My guys were working this with search warrants yesterday, day before yesterday. This is a tough crime. I-10's transient population. It's not like the neighbors and hoods that we can go talk to neighbors. It's really tough. I'm telling you, we're working with everybody who can try to solve that. This other, I'll tell you the scams. Watch out for scams right now. Hey, the sheriff's office, we're calling you. They're using real names. We won't call you if you want it. We won't call you. We'll knock on your door if you want it. We won't call you. And, but seriously, don't fall for that. Call and actually talk to a real one of us. Don't give money. Please don't ever give money as personal information. You can't imagine the people, prominent people that are educated that are truly giving up money. I'm like, wow, wow. But it happens because they're so genuine when they call you. Their facts are so good. They spoof local numbers, all things there too. For example, one of those incidents that happened up there was, did you hear about this one where the money scam? So here you got these guys up there. He's got a bag, I mean literally a bag, and it's got money on it, like, hey, this guy, and he's actually telling people, I won $236,000 lottery. Let me bless my winnings with all of you. There's a line of people standing out. He's giving two $100 bills to people.
Were they real?
Yes. And people are like, oh, thank you, and I'm blessed to everybody. Just going on this. Here comes Mr. Innocent Trucker. Oh, that's a line I want to be in. So he stands in line because the world's crazy, right? That guy's probably, this is going to be a story I can tell all my family. He stands in line. Can you get to him? And the guy goes, he goes, hey, listen, I'm so blessed today. I will double whatever you have in your wallet. He pulls out a large sum of money. He's a truck driver. They run cash. Large sum of money. He goes, look, he counts it. He goes, look at all this money. I won't say how much. I don't want to. Gives it to him. The guy goes, oh, look at that. That's great. Pop right in the head. And then they take his money. Everybody in that line that was getting those money was part of the scam. It's like a gypsy crime. And they even reported the suspect driving away. that was an innocent person leaving, that was an elderly gentleman, a white pickup, we stopped that pickup. He's like, what? That's how sophisticated. A year ago to the date, they did the same thing. They actually did another one, very similar. We're trying to, we think the gym show in Tucson brought them back here. We got, to show you the work they do, the work they did. So last year when they did this, he dropped a baseball cap during an altercation. We seized that as evidence, sent it for DNA, and matched it. That's why you see it on our Facebook. If you haven't watched our Facebook, watch it. We'll tell you when creepy people are wanted. You can see it. And so we're looking for this guy, 4-year-old. You look at the picture, you know why I say it. But the bottom line is this: we will find him because he was involved in that one way or another. We will find him. So we're putting that out there. So with that said, just if you see something, say something, call. We'd rather have you call and it's nothing than not say something and find out later. All right? If it doesn't seem right, doesn't smell right, doesn't look right, whatever it is, call us. Sir.
I was gonna say, with the increased military presence here on the southern border, I know a lot of stuff goes on in this mountain range, including people that do hiking and off-roading. Is there gonna be any potential for civilians running into military enforcement?
No.
State parks or anything like that?
I don't see that at all. You're gonna see a whole contingency of military, I can tell you that much, and I don't wanna get into DOD's op plan. Me, it's gonna blast my phone, sure, tell us more. I can't, I'm not DOD. I know what they're doing, there's a lot of cool things going on, more than you've ever seen when it comes to, I've always said this, you can go and protect everybody in the world in global crunch, be out there, but you're letting the homeland, you need to protect our countries. And I served in the military, and I tell you, I think we need to protect our America first. Let me just say it that way. I will say this: whatever they do, and I'll go into detail, they will be in support. They're going to put people in our center, our border center. I know that on the intel side and also the operations side. They'll be side by side with the border patrol. They'll be side by side with the sheriff's office. So when they're out there, it'll be within their rules and authority, but also within our rules and authority. It's a force multiplier, and it's a messaging tool. They're taking this serious, I'm telling you. And talking to some of the generals that are out here today, they're going for it. I'm impressed. First time I've ever seen this. First time I've ever seen it like that. Usually they come down and it's like, okay, but this is legit. This is legit. Any other questions for me? That means we're doing something right. I like it. So thank you all. If we're not, pick up that phone, call me. These guys will come to see you. I will come to see you based on what it is. And trust me, I don't care if it's 2 in the morning. That's when people call me. That's when people call me. Sure, kid's not home. If you call 911, let's start there for you. But seriously, if I have to go out to a call, and I'll tell you one last story. I had a guy call me at midnight, 11 o'clock, whatever it was, I don't remember. And said he lives in Portal. And Kenny helped me on this one too. He lives in Portal. He's a former cop, former vet. He's 91 years old, 92 years old. And he called me and goes, Sheriff. And I go, what is this? And he told me, I go, hey, what's up, what's wrong? He's upset. And he goes, my wife got taken to the hospital and she has no way home. And he's on hospice. He goes, what do I do? I said, we'll get her home. Where's she at? So I said, call the hospital and tell her to come. And I could double check that, and I called too. My wife's a nurse. I go, Nick, you want to go with me? She goes, what are we doing? I go, you're the nurse. I won't, So she got in the car. We went down to the hospital. I walked in, and Douglas picked her up, and then my team helped us. We got them out there. Got her home about 3 or 4 in the morning. But that's what we do. It is. When the water buoy's not working, okay, who do you call? Not the water company, because they're shut down. Who do you call? And thank Gail Griffin on that one, because Gail actually stepped up to help them over there. She did really well. When you have those partnerships with Dave Gowan, with Gail, with Loopy, your board members, all that, it works so much better. So keep us in check. If you don't like what we're doing, check us. But at the end of the day, as long as we're seeing eye to eye, and that's even our governor here. Have we bumped heads and there's bruises? Of course. But at the end of the day, as the state's been by its purse for dealing with this border, and the federal government said we don't have a problem. So I gotta hold that. I do. And right now our state's doing some great things for us down here. School safety is a huge thing we've done. A lot of grant money on that. We're kicking butt on the school safety programs here. Jackie Clay's doing a wonderful job of that too. So thank you all very much. But again, if you're not happy, call. Thanks, everyone.
So before we adjourn the meeting, right, I wanna let you know that our internet phone people are over here, Cammy and Heather, and they're really good people, by the way, right? We got the American Legion and the VFW over here, so make sure you visit with everybody. And there's more food back there, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then I need to see all the board members back in the kitchen when we get done, so meeting adjourned.
Oh, is it good for you? Yeah. Appreciate you guys coming down and supporting us.
Otherwise, we don't leave the place, you know.
Yeah, it's just the military's down. You know it's gonna be big, so.
Yeah, they're gonna, I've heard a few things, because I got a good friend that works over there.
Well, good.
And there's a lot going on. Alright, we'll see you later. We'll see you.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, I did. Perfect hair. It's a good hair day for you. Hey.
Hey! Right.
Okay.